All right. Chris got in an accident in Costa Rica. He's going to tell us a story, and I haven't heard it yet, so I'm kind of interested to hear it. I think maybe it'll be a human interest story. Maybe it'll be like a learning thing so if you get in an accident, I'm not even really sure. We're going to get to it in about 45 seconds. Guys, I'm Michael. I'm for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. If you haven't subscribed, please do. YouTube's hard. If you want to show some love for 16 years of making videos, there's a fun way to donate. Buy me a coffee. There's a link in the description. And do you recognize Chris? Because we're at the relocation retreat, man, and it has been fun. So if Costa Rica is on your radar, thinking you might want to live here, but you're not quite sure, this 6-day event might be for you. We're going to have the new dates up soon. Hopefully tomorrow. But anyway, so it might be for you. So all that information will also be in the link in the description. Now, do you guys recognize Chris? We've done videos with Chris before. He's a construction guy. He's the guy that handholds you through the process to make sure whatever you're buying or building is done the right way. And if you don't know, it's a thing in Costa Rica. They can tend to maybe, what do you say, like shortcut their way sometimes when they're building?
There's different standards.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we're not going to be talking about what Chris does, but we have that video. So I'm going to put a link in the description to that chat I had with Chris, actually the last relocation retreat, about what he does. If you're interested, if you want to get a hold of him, we can obviously make that happen as well. Chris, thanks for talking to us.
Yes,
you know what? Just real briefly, I probably chopped what you do up a little bit. I messed it up.
No,
so
you did it pretty well, but again, I do pre-purchase home inspections, North American style, and then if you're building a house and you don't want to screw with it, you can hire me, and I'll make sure you get the best possible outcome and process.
I just want to say this real quick. It's funny. People build here. They think they know what they're doing, and it's a nightmare. Every time, I think only one time I've done a lot of interviews with people that have built, and they always say the same thing.
It's not just construction materials, construction process, but there's also cultural things.
Yeah. But anyway, they usually say something along the lines of, "I hated the process," and this, they have some stories about some things that happened with the architect, or the thing that happened with they put the cabinet on the wrong side or whatever. Well, anyway, Chris stops all that from happening. So his story, so people use him. The stories are always good.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Chris got in an accident, man. You seem okay.
Yeah. Oh, it was a pretty light accident. Damages a new tailgate, new bumper. So
was it your fault?
No, never my fault.
We're off to a good start.
Yeah.
All right. So what happened?
All right. So my wife and me and my son, my wife, we live in Escazú. And we were driving.
So bougie.
It's we're there. There's a reason we're there, and a lot of it has to do with proximity to medical services. So anyway, we live in Escazú, and we were driving through San Rafael, and we were slowing down. Some of you might know where this is, in front of the country club, yielding to a car that was turning left into a country club. We're there for a couple seconds, and another car slams into us from the rear. And luckily, no one was hurt. My son was fine, And instinctively, I move out of the way of traffic, because that's what you do in the States, right? You're not supposed to do that.
Okay, just before we keep going with this story, if you get in a wreck in Costa Rica, no matter where it is, do not move your car. I know you're going to be pressured, man. There's 63,000 cars in back of you. They cannot get around you. You're creating a traffic jam. Too bad. Yeah. Everyone knows, don't move your car.
I know now. So anyway, move my car off to the side of the road, and we get out. We talk to the person who rear-ended us, and she was a 20-something-year-old girl, very polite, very nice, and immediately took fault for the accident. And she said, "Oh well, I have a dog in the back seat, and he jumped to the front seat, and I was distracted, and I before I knew I was colliding into you." I'm like, "Okay, well, we'll figure this out." And she's like, "Well, I'd like to settle now." I'm like, "Okay, well, tell me what you're thinking." And she's like, "Well, I can pay for these damages. I'm like, are you an auto body specialist? And she's like, well, no. I'm like, do you know how much this is going to cost? She's like, well, yeah, it's probably about $500. My cousin's an auto body guy, and he can do it for fun. I'm like, no, sorry. Like, first call is to my attorney.
I kind of like her. That's a pretty strong move right there.
Yeah, $500 is not coming close.
I have a brother. He can fix it.
Right? My dad's got a killer set of tools, man. He can fix it. That's a reference.
Right, yeah.
Okay, anyway. So, when I call my attorney, he's also here.
Wait, I'm sorry to say. From the accident?
My first call
or were you gone? Were you still talking?
We're still on the side of the road.
Okay.
She's there. I tell her, like, hey, my first call is going to be to my attorney. Just because I want to make sure I'm doing everything right. So I call Andreas Gomez. He speaks here. And he's like, Chris, is everyone okay? Yes. Okay, all right. This is what you got to do. He's like, call the police.
Yep.
He's like, are the police on their way? I'm like, she called them. He's like, you call them too. I'm like, okay. He's like, call your insurance company. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, she says she's uninsured, and she says that she doesn't have a driver's license. He's like, all right, well.
This is getting more interesting.
He's like, get her information. I'm like, okay. So I get her information. She hands it over. She's really polite, She just hands it over, and we get the insurance company. They're on their way. The cops are on their way. And she comes up to me. She's like, hey, my mother's here. The car has insurance, but since I'm an unlicensed driver, it's not going to cover us. If you say my mother was driving, then our insurance will kick in and everything will be covered. I'm like,
man, I like this girl. I like this girl. She's thinking. She's conniving.
Yeah. Well, I'm a permanent resident here, but I'm still a guest in this country, and I need to follow the law. That's what I tell her, and I believe that too. I need to be on my best behavior, and
agreed.
And also, like, it protects my interests. Follow the law, and that's the best I can do to protect my interests.
And obviously, that could be an extremely slippery slope. It sounds good. Oh, okay, I guess we could do that, but that's going to go into other.
Yeah. So I'm already thinking, hell no. But I'm like, let me talk to my attorney. I call him. He's like, Chris, don't do that. He's like, what are you thinking? I'm like, I wasn't thinking it. He's like, tell her your attorney.
You just wanted confirmation that you were making the right decision.
I'm like, I don't know how things are done here. And he's like, tell her your attorney said you're not doing that. I can tell her I'm not doing that, but I'll say my attorney agrees too. So she's like, all right, whatever. And she's still being polite. And I photograph everything. That's one of the things Andreas told me to do. Give my statement to the insurance adjuster who came out. Give my statement to the police officer, transit police who came out. And then we are on our way. Our car's still drivable. I think we're going to like an animal refuge for my son. We do that. Get home. And I message her. I'm like, hey, my deductible is going to be like $600 when we get this figured out. Like, and I would, would you agree to pay that? She said, oh, absolutely. I'll pay your deductible. Just send it to me. I'm like, cool. Luckily, I was always nervous about getting in a car accident. What do you do, right? And who fixes it? And it's not if, it's when, especially with the way driving is here. Luckily, at one point early in my move, I did a day in the life with an Autobot or with a mechanic. And I just followed him around for the day. Like, this dude's like,
for real?
Yeah, he was working on my car. He's like, you got to ride home? I'm like, no, I was just going to hang out here. He's like, yeah, your car's going to be here all day. I'm like, oh. He's like, you want to hang out with me for the day? I'm like, hell yeah. Coolest day in the life ever. He introduced me to so many people.
Cool. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's like a traveling mechanic. Went to some really cool made house calls at really nice homes on really nice cars. It was cool. Anyway, he introduced me to his high-end auto body repair people. And one of the things that sold me on them is they deal with the insurance company completely. You just sign over you sign over rights to them to
make
negotiate
those decisions.
Yeah. And it was so easy. They did a great job. And, of course, I vetted them outside that. And Cool. So I was prepared there, and passed along their information to the girl who rear-ended us, and said, "Yeah, of course I'll take care of it." I'm like, "Okay, next time I message you is when I'm after I pay the bill and get my car back." Well, the it drags out. The repairs drag out for a long time, like 3 months. So
parts, like getting parts.
Yeah, getting parts,
or just because it's Costa Rica.
Getting parts, and then also submitting the claim to the insurance company that the mechanic, like, they were doing things wrong. They were requesting used parts that should have been new parts, and the insurance company's like, no, this needs to be new. I skipped a part though. I also had to go to the transit courts and then make a sworn statement. I get there
from the direction of the police, or who told you to do that? Or Andres?
It was someone told me to do it. It was the next step. Maybe Andres told me. I think the police told me there was a scheduled court date or a scheduled date. I didn't have any choice. It's like show up on this.
So she got cited.
She got that the judge cites her. We haven't even got there yet.
Sorry.
So I made my sworn statement to the transit court, and first off, they want to kick me out of there because I don't have a translator. I'm like, we're communicating. I know a little bit of Spanish. You know a little bit of English. I think we're getting through fine. I already have a prepared statement here. It's in Spanish.
Wait a minute. Who wanted to kick you out? The judge?
No, not the judge. Just the guy sitting at the gate. He's like, you need an interpreter. I'm like, hold on. Like, I've dedicated my day to this. Yeah, I've dedicated my day to this. And no, get out. Luckily, there was another guy who felt for me, and he's like, I'll take care of him. We're not supposed to do this, but I'll take care of it. I speak good English, and he already has a prepared statement. All I got to do is enter it into the computer. I'm like, thank you. I made friends with this guy. He has ambitions to be a Supreme Court justice. I told him, I know one of the Supreme Court justices. So, I'll connect you. We made friends with this dude. And he unofficially advised me along the way when I had questions about the process, what I do next. So it's nice to know this guy. Anyway, fast forward months, and my car is repaired. I got a $500 deductible, 5 or 6. And then I had a few other repairs done, like that weren't related to the accident. I submitted this to her. I'm like, hey, this bill's $1,000. I'd like you to take care of the deductible.
And it was only $1,000?
No, total, yes. But then the deductible was only like $500. Total cost was over $6,000 to repair the car.
Okay, and, wait. I'm sorry, I got totally messed up. So what was $1,000?
So total damage of the car was $6,000. The deductible was about $500. Mm-hmm. I had an additional $500 of cosmetic work done to the car since I was already there. It's already in the shop. Like, hey, can you fix this? Can you fix that? So that was additional $500 to make the car prettier than it was before the accident.
So what was her responsibility?
$500 deductible is what I requested from her. I'm like, hey, if you pay this $500, we don't have to go through litigation. We can drop this right now. It saves you time. It saves me time. Yada yada yada. You're probably going to get cited anyway. So yeah, of course. Send me your bank account information. I'll wire you the money. I'm like, okay. Here are the options. Never get the money. She changes her WhatsApp number, and that's it. No more communication.
Wait, okay, I'm sorry because this is getting
Yeah.
So you told her if she does the deductible that she doesn't have to make any other payment?
Yeah, that's fair.
I know, but what was her responsibility past the deductible?
Nothing. Well, at that point...
So the damage really was like only $500?
No, the damage was $5,000. Insurance deductible, the insurance paid for $4,500.
Her insurance or your insurance?
She didn't have insurance.
Okay, all right, okay, now it's starting to make sense. Sure. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get clarified.
If you need clarification, so do they. Or some of them.
Or maybe I'm slow. I
wasn't going to say that. I would never say that. Anyway.
Okay.
So she cuts off communication with me. I'm like, all right, fine. We got to go to litigation. And I'm following the rules, right? So we get a court date a few months later. And, of course, she doesn't show up to court. Oh, I email my guy. No, I talked to my attorney. And he's like, well, you should have a attorney with you there. I'm like, not at this point. Like, I don't. I'm only going after $500. I don't want to pay $600 in attorney fee. So not at this point. And he's like, okay, well, this is what you should do. Request the case file from the court, so you can be prepared and know what she has submitted and review what you submitted. I'm like, okay, cool. And then you can make your decision from there. I call my guy, my connection I made, and he emails me the file. You don't need a connection for this. You can request it, but it just made it easier for me to go straight to this guy. He gave me the case file and said, good luck, and I can't advise you, but like I can, help you in areas where I can. Thank you, sir. Review it. I'm like, all right, cool. She never even submitted anything. She's blowing this all off. So go to my court trial. She doesn't show up. I sit in front of the judge. I need a translator that time, and I had my translator with me. Clay's wife.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pablo knows Clay. You don't know Clay. I
was going to go with it. I was going to make it easy.
You know Clay's wife.
I was going to make it easy.
He knows Clay's wife. Anyway, she does the translating for us, does an excellent job in front of the court. It was a cool process sitting in front of a Costa Rica judge in their chambers and stuff, and everything has to be in Spanish. And then after the court is done, I bring my wife. She's the witness. Needed her too. After it's all done, she's like, okay, you got any questions? Like, stops the recording. I can talk to you in English now. So I just started asking her a bunch of questions about the whole process. I'm like, how often did people show up? She's like, see this stack of papers? It's like, that's all the people that didn't show up this month that I have to decide who's at fault with no one showing up to the case. So she's like, you show up. You're the only people that show up. Oh, okay, interesting. I kind of figured that. And I'm like, what are the next steps? She's like, well, litigation. I'm like, so is it worth it if I'm suing for my deductible? She's like, you got to make that decision yourself based off attorney fees, yada, yada. I'm like, should I sue? Like, do I need to set a standard? Like, is it my responsibility or duty as a permit? She's like, nah, it's not really, you got to figure that out for yourself. I'm like, okay, but she's being nice, answering questions. I'm like, well, we have childcare. We had to hire childcare while we're here at court. I had to cover expenses for renting a car, taking time off work.
Can I just stop real quick?
Yes, sir.
What does the insurance company, your insurance company, they don't help in going after her?
Apparently not.
I thought that's what they kind of did. They want to get what they.
That's a good question for Freddie. But yeah, I don't know.
Because normally an insurance company is like they
want their money back.
Yes.
Yeah, you would think so.
So they were in no part but except for pay the bill.
They might be going. I don't know. Maybe they're going after her for that $4,500, but I already paid the deductible, so they don't give a shit about me anymore, right? They already got.
I know, but you would think they'd go after her.
Maybe they are on their behalf, but not on my behalf.
Right.
So I'm like, well, if we're gonna go to litigation, I'm covering all expenses. And WhatsApp, she changed her number, but WhatsApp, like, for some reason,
it tells you,
here's her new number.
Your friend changed her number.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, how convenient. I was looking for her. And I bring up this list. I'm like, I'm being polite. I'm like, hey, hope you're doing well.
I think we got cut off.
You might not remember me. You bashed in my car, and my kid was in the back seat. No, I didn't do that. But anyway, I'm like, hey, the judge ruled in my favor. You're cited for the accident. You're at fault. I would love to end this now for the deductible. If we have to go to litigation, I need to make it worth my while. So I'm coming after you for $100 for this translator, $100 for the next translator, fees me when I had to rent a car, recovering all that, daycare expenses for whenever.
All legitimate, by the way.
Yeah,
all
anything. So it comes up to like $3,500 or $3,000 worth of expenses, and of course I never hear from her.
You would think that would be a motivating factor because
she called my bluff.
Right.
She's a poke. I wasn't going to go to litigation.
I told you I liked her from the beginning.
I wasn't going to go to litigation for. It's just
$500.
$500, and even if she gets it, even if they rule in my favor, how do I get the money from her? I asked the judge that. I'm like, well, the judge's like, well, she has to pay. I'm like, well, are they going to garnish her wages? And the judge didn't I don't know if she didn't understand me or whatever, couldn't say, but basically I came to the conclusion is I can't get her to pay. Having in the United States, I sued someone in small claims court for a construction thing for $10,000. Got it in my favor and never seen a dime. So like, just because the court rules in your favor don't mean you're going to get that money. I
gotta tell you, Chris, I have learned a lot from this story.
Oh, really?
And actually, you reinforce some of my prior beliefs. Anytime you have to hire a lawyer, you're already going in the wrong direction. In a sense, you know what I mean? Like,
not the lawyer.
Like, let's say you're going to sue. No, not because of the lawyer, because now you're suing. There's money involved. There's this involved, and it's going to go. It usually goes like this. And then the fact that we live in Costa Rica, and that story sounded Costa Rican, like lots of different angles.
You know what I should have done? I should have got that $500 from her immediately. That she said, "Oh yeah, this will cover the damages." Took that $500 and then went through the rest of the process. And if
now, do you think she would have? What was she going to Venmo the money to you? Or what was that?
Her mom showed up. You know, they probably would have went to the bank and got $500.
So really, this whole thing was your fault. You could have got the money.
Well, it was $500 to go away. So I would have had to be. I would have had to be the scheming one to.
So you never got her money.
No, but.
And obviously, you're not going to litigation.
No, but thank God for insurance. $500 is a hell of a lot nicer than.
Now, did your insurance go up?
No, not yet. I mean, my insurance goes up like every month for some reason by pennies.
I don't know, guys. I don't know what the moral of this story is, but it is a very Costa Rican story. Yeah, but I don't even know if be prepared is enough.
I don't know.
I mean, look, you did literally everything right except for take her money when she offered it.
Yeah.
You know, actually, if you think about it and you kind of reflect on that, if she was willing to give the deductible...
No, she wasn't... Oh, she said
in the very beginning, if you would have got that, not that she would have really been giving it to you, you might have...
But she said that her cousin or her brother or someone could fix it and it's only going to cost $500. I'm like, oh, I mean, you're an auto body professional. How convenient, you know?
Well, that's
she was just saying whatever she could to make it go away. She was driving she didn't have a license. So she was also trying to protect her interest. Then she wanted to put her mom in the driver's seat.
Don't they go after her even for that? Forget you now for a minute.
Oh.
Let's forget you for a second. Doesn't she get in trouble?
I asked the judge, too. I'm like, hey, she said she was not licensed. Like, what happens there? She's like, well, it'll get handled accordingly. So.
How convenient.
Yeah.
So the big question, I guess, to you is, what did you learn?
Okay. Day in the lives are awesome.
Or would you do any? And A, what did you learn? B, would you have done anything different, except for the deductible thing, maybe? But did you learn anything from this that would go, well, if this happens again, here's what's going to go?
If it happens again, the whole process will be smoother for me, and when it happens again, it'll be smoother, and I'll get through it faster, and I won't be as stressed. It's stressful not knowing what happens next.
Well, I even think that moving the car thing is stressful because I know you're not. I mean, I've always known that, but it does. And man, you stop traffic for miles.
After I moved the car, she's like, "Hey, you shouldn't have moved your car." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I realize that." And then the cop shows up. He's like, "Hey, you shouldn't have moved the car." I'm like, "Yeah, yes, sir, I know that." And then the insurance guy shows up and he's like, "Did you move the car?" I'm like, "Look, I know I'm not supposed to move the car." There's like people passing by. He's like, "He moved the car." I'm like, don't move the car. But everything still worked out.
Dude, I'm sorry.
How many times I got to hear this?
That's kind of funny. Dude, don't move the car.
Don't move the car.
I don't know. I haven't gotten in an accident yet, but I guess the key difference is, my driving is mostly like long distance. I don't drive around town too much, so the fender bender is probably not going to happen.
You're not in San Jose either.
Right. Which is, you're probably driving every day or whatever and doing stuff. So I don't know. It's good. Well, glad you had insurance. You know what I mean? That's good. So.
Hell yeah. Insurance.
I just hope it doesn't go up.
I don't think it will. I mean, again, it goes up every month.
See, I think these stories are interesting because we're in Costa Rica, we're in another country, and if you don't really know, it could be super stressful, especially if it happens to you in more in the beginning of your life here, of living here, as opposed to. I mean, like I've lived here 19 years. If I get in an accident, I know what to do. Like, don't move the freaking car, call the police, call the insurance.
When I first moved here, that was my fear of getting in an accident. I'm like, does insurance really work here? Does it, just super naive. Does insurance actually work, or is it just something I'm paying? And then I'm like, do auto bodies, do they do a good job? So yes, insurance works. And
yeah, and who picks them? Who picks auto? But like, if insurance is paying, I'm surprised the insurance didn't jump in and go, take your car here.
You can pick it. That's what I learned.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And
can I ask you a personal question? Just because I just started. Okay, I haven't had a car for the 18 years I lived here. Right? My first car was Johnny's car. I bought Johnny's car almost 1 year ago, and obviously I pay insurance. How much do you pay for insurance?
It's like, so when it started out, it was like low 70s, maybe 73 a month 3 years ago. Now it's like up to 89 a month.
Okay, so
it's set by the government.
Okay, so I feel better. So I pay I think somewhere between $7 and $8, I guess.
Dollars?
Yes.
A month?
No, a year.
$7 to $8 a year.
I think $700.
Oh,
I believe.
Okay, that's a little less.
Between $700 and $800, I believe. But it is INS. It is the governmental.
Me too.
INS, right?
Yeah, INS. Yeah, INS. Yep, me too. I think it also depends on the year.
See, I don't know if that's good. I have been out of this game so long from the States and
it's similar to what I paid in the States for a nicer truck, a nicer, newer.
But they did do good work, right?
Yes, they did great work after I got them to do it. Like, it's every day. It's like, hey, where are we at? Where are we at? Where are they at? They're ignoring your call. So eventually, they got the work done.
Anyway, Chris, I think these little stories are fun, and maybe people thinking about living here, they can go, "Oh shit, don't move the car!
Don't move the car!"
If we learned anything, Chris, thanks a lot, man.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I'm Michael Allen, travelcostarica.com. My videos are going to pop up. Thinking about living or traveling anywhere, especially Costa Rica. Always do your homework and research, man. Trust me. And I would pick my videos. All right, man. Ciao.
Adios.